Can you tell us about the reaction when Peter Ladhams was announced?
It's like every first game player, the reaction from his teammates is pretty special. I was in the gym, and you give a young player that message. It's the best part of the job when you get to bring a player into his AFL career for his first time, and it's really exciting. But for his teammates, it's equally as exciting, and there's no better moment in football clubs, other than winning together at the end of the game.
Was that an easy decision, given one ruckman out and his form?
Yeah, absolutely. Really easy, to be honest. Scotty, we were mindful of, and we didn't want to wear him into the ground. It's still a long way to go in the season. Wasn't quite where he needed to be, and Pete's just been in fantastic sample form. It was in irresistible form, to be honest, so he needed to get an opportunity, and he's got a little bit of a lucky break.
We spoke to Hamish yesterday, and he said that Pete's attitude to footy has changed since the start of pre-season last year. What was the catalyst for that, and what have you seen that's different from him, to get him to this in good form point?
To be fair, I think it's just maturing, and every young person does it at different stages. And we've got great examples right through our footy club. We've had first year players come in and play. We've got Billy, who's played in his fifth season, playing his third game, and we've got Pete in his third year going for his first game. So just maturity, and sometimes it's understanding the system that you're working to, and particularly tools, it's much harder for them to develop their body the rate they need to. And for us, you just got to be patient. And Pete's taken great ownership of his destiny. I reckon that's really important.
Scotty touched on it before, but that's just a sort of 1 week resty type thing, you think?
Yeah, certainly not resty, but it's he's got a slight injury, which will keep him out this week, and should only be this week. But we've all said it before, with injuries, you're never quite sure. We expect him back for the next week's trip.
Just on that, does China make a difference in that circumstance? Because, well, if you're in any doubt, it sort of goes back to, well, we don't want you travelling all that way and then coming back and maybe missing another 2 or something like that.
In any game, whether we China's a bit further travel, but in any game we're always mindful of not making injuries any longer than they need to be. So for us, this week for Scotty was about not going to Launceston because we want him available for China, and then we got a bye after China as well. So we think that's the right opportunity for us.
Is that the same with the other guys that are still to come back, Charlie, guys like that? If they were in any doubt, you wouldn't take them to China because all that way for the one game, come back, then you've got a bye. You might as well give them the extra time.
I think if you're talking long-term rehabbers, that's exactly what we'd look to do, I would imagine. But none of those players that we're talking about, Charlie and Hamish and people like that, would be ready for selection in AFL football anyhow. If I go through Ollie, Brad, all the boys that we've got missing at the moment, they wouldn't be ready for AFL selection next week anyhow, so that's not an issue.
Tell us about Brian Burton. We thought it might be a miracle 1 week hamstring. It's not.
Just close. He was 95% at training yesterday, and he said I feel really, really good, and got through the whole training session. But he said, I just got some tightness, is what he would call it. But I said, well, we're just not going to take that chance. We talk about it all the time with injuries and hamstrings. We just don't want to risk making it a longer injury than it needs to be. I would suspect that Ryan would be 100% available for next week.
I imagine he would have been itching to play his old team.
I think sometimes that's my responsibility, is to understand the urgency for the player to want to do some certain things, and to also understand the importance of getting it right from a conditioning point of view and the remainder of the season. So I think that helps when we can understand what his mindset may have been like to play against Hawthorn.
What do you expect from Peter? What sort of percentage in the ruck, and does he go forward? Does he do other things?
Well, his form in the sample would suggest he's able to do almost 80-90% of ruck work, but he's also really capable in the front half. So we expect he'll do a very similar role with Scott, and him and Paddy will share the role pretty evenly as they've done over the first 9 weeks of the season. So not too much different.
Okay. Sort of a nicer debut for him, and a nicer game for Paddy, given that McAvoy's out.
Yeah, I suppose we've got Lycett out, so it evens up pretty well. You've got to play young ruck. We've got opportunities. Paddy's predominantly played more forward than ruck anyhow, so it's a big opportunity for Pete, to be honest, to go up against Segler and see how he goes.
Chad, coming up against old mate Chad Wingard.
Yeah, Chad, Jarman, Sean. We've come up against a few, they've got great history at Port Adelaide. We look forward to the opportunity to play against all boys, and we embrace the opportunity, particularly Indigenous round for those boys and for our boys. It's a great opportunity for us to come together, have a game of football, and then we'll all be pretty embracing, I'd imagine, at the end of the game.
You know his mental space better than any of us. Is he the sort of player that would get up for this opportunity?
Yep. 100%. Yeah, Chatty will be up and about. Giles will be up and about, and Sean I don't know very well, but certainly the two boys that I know, they'll be like any team, any player. You want to play well against your former side in any circumstances. That we no different for any of our players.
So you're wearing the Indigenous
Yep. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
It's a big round, isn't it? It's
it's
important to the club.
well, it's for our footy club. You know, I don't separate us from any other team, but we're really, really passionate about our Indigenous players now and our Indigenous history of players, and it's so strong and so great at Port Adelaide that, you know, and Sam designs a top that we like to wear, and we want to honour the boys. And you know, we did a little bit of work the other day at the club, which was just so much fun for us as people to get involved with some different culture. And you know, this round is so important to us as a football club.
Taking Joel Garner as a travelling emergency.
Yes, good pickup. Yeah, good pickup.
Is he the one?
Yeah, Joel come over as a travelling emergency. Yep.
Is he
Unlucky?
stiff?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But Tom Jonas came back in. It's really hard one, isn't it? You know, and you know, if I look at Joe Attlee, the same, and you know, Robbie Gray came back in. So you know, we've been down a couple, but it's good to get them back. But the flip side of that is some young people who have played pretty solid football last week miss out, and that's a little unfortunate.
Ken, how do you prepare for this game? Thanks. How do you prepare for this game? Hawthorn and yourselves, same situation. You know, you've got some problems. You don't know if you're going to get consistency, all that sort of stuff. Does it become just one of those games that you have to win in the shape of the season?
Oh, they all are. They all, you know, particularly you're getting halfway mark of the year, they all become significantly important. But we understand the challenge, and we look forward to the challenge of going down to Launceston to play Hawthorn, who've got an outstanding record down there. So we're not confused by that. And if we think we're anything but our best is going to be capable of beating Hawthorn, we'd be a bit foolish. So yeah, we're right up for the game, and we're ready for the game. Doesn't mean we're always going to get the result we want, but we're going to go down there. We've been, I think, as a football team, I think we've been incredibly consistent right through the season, perhaps bar one quarter. You know, and I think that's something we can be confident in our group that they'll go there and they'll give what they've got.
Can I ask my weekly Jack Tango?
Yes, you can ask it. Yep.
Anything more to add for a man that's been in obviously very good form? I mean, does he get close to being picked?
Yeah, of course. I mean, everyone has a conversation. Look, the really important thing with Jack is he's fully aware of where everything's at, and he's really clear. Now, we make some decisions based on personnel, structure of the team. You know, we've got Sam Powell-Pepper, we've got Joey Attlee, who have played in the last couple of weeks. You know, we've got to balance our team selection out. I can be 100% clear on one thing for Jack. Jack knows exactly where everything's at, and Jack is in great form, so that would suggest to me that he's very, very comfortable with the situation that he's in. He would love to play AFL football, not unlike the other 45 players on our list.
Does it come purely down to, I mean, he's obviously playing his best footy as a Tom Rockcliffe or is that what it is? Like,
well, it's a part of it. There's no doubt. There's a part of it in anyone's selection. It's always a part of what pieces fit together. You know, and we've seen this week Joel Garner goes out, not deserving almost to go out, but Tom Jonas comes back in. So you know, the AFL they give you a number and they say 22 is all you can select, and you've got to run with that.
One more. I think it's a little bit off to the side. Someone wants me to ask it. In junior footy, obviously scoring, I think a lot of the time gets taken out of the game. What do you think that does for kids when a little bit left field?
Yeah,
you can have a couple of seconds to think about it, but someone's doing some sort of featurey story on it.
No, I suppose what they're trying to do is make it an enjoyment game, isn't it? It's not about winning and losing, and I think that's okay at a junior level, but you know, the grown-up world, you do play win and loss football, and that's unfortunate, but that's why we love the game so much. Someone's a winner, someone's a loser, but you know, from a child's point of view, I think it's got some merit in making sure they just compete and have a bit of fun playing and not worry about the winning and losing.